Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing today? Pretty well, good. How's the weather? Not too bad? It is fall. It's going to snow soon. We're going to do some more predictions here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do the Atlantic for this episode. We got a lot of teams to pick through. 8 through number 1. We're going to try and see how wrong we are again. B-Dog, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. And this episode is obviously sponsored by, well, a man can dream.
Yes, a man can dream that...
Toronto will make it past the first round. But anyways, going
just
right
awkward
in.
silence, you know? Like, that's what people want in a podcast. Just
exactly.
Awkward silence. So.
You just have to have that few seconds of just...
So number 8, eh?
Yeah, number 8.
So number 8.
Obviously, this is a very, very strong division. Obviously, all around, very strong division.
It is very true. It's just, I looked at the number 8 spot, and I'm like, yes, very strong.
Very strong
like, the
division.
stench is very strong.
Yes, of course. Okay, my number 8 is the Montreal Canadiens. And... Oh boy.
Don't get the 5 people live in Quebec, man.
Oh, brother, I already did. But hey, guys, Montreal is number 8 on my list. And nothing against Montreal. Obviously, they've been looking on the upsides. They just named Nick Suzuki as their captain. And Cole Caulfield's looking great each time. And Sleftikov is looking great as well. Just overall great team. But bottom of the barrel. There's obviously they're in a rebuild. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals against Tampa, got their butts beat, and they got sent right back to the bottom of the barrel. And yeah, I think that's where.
Yeah, you know what? It's all I know is it feels very sad that we definitely probably saw the last of Carey Price.
Oh,
but we get to see a Sean Monahan revenge tour.
Oh hell yeah!
So it's nice. I mean. I've never had anything against Montreal. I really do. I root for this team in the sense that I want them to do good.
Out of every
the fans really do
yes,
deserve it, right?
They really do.
And, you know, especially now with a player like Sean Monahan being on that team, of course I want them. But yeah, I think, you know what? If you can try and tank for another first overall pick, do it.
Honestly.
Can you imagine Bedard, right, along with like Suzuki and Caulfield and Slavkovsky? Like, that would just be something, right? Like, just keep piling the young guys, right? You know what I mean? Like, eventually one's going to be phenomenal, even if they're all bust, right? Like,
they also got a great addition in Kirby Dack this offseason.
Oh, that's very
totally
true.
Forgot about that.
And although I don't think Jake Allen's a terrible goaltender,
No.
you know, his weight can be carried on, like, what Carey Price could have done. I feel that it's just like the same story as last season in some sense. I mean,
yeah,
we kind of know, but it's slowly looking more promising, and St. Louis being the coach, man, it seems to be working out. It's helped some of the players, especially like Caulfield, for example. Number 7. That will be the Buffalo Sabers.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
They will take a step in the right direction, just not as big as a leap as I think we all want it to be.
No.
Now, I love the addition with Alex Tuch, and I think Dahlin can progress even better. There's just, of course, a few things with Buffalo that just still needs to be figured out and fixed, but you know what? The wounds are slowly being healed from the Eichel situation, the Eichel era.
Very
if you
true.
can call it a freaking era. You know, it's like, what sucks, of course, is like you still got a Skinner contract of $9 million. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
But like, okay, Tage Thompson.
For 5
right?
years.
You have Tage Thompson, right? Like
Tage
Dylan Cozens, right? There is Jack Quinn. Like there's possibility here of seeing much progression this season. Rasmus Asplund as well. But we look at like the defense here. All right, addition of Lyubushkin as well. Then Yoki Haru. Owen Power too, right? He's due to. I mean, he's 19. You can't. Please don't call him a bust. Please don't.
What? He's like
I
barely
don't even think
season?
people calling Dahlin a bust. I don't think he can. He's 22.
Hey, I drafted him in my fantasy for a reason. I think he might have a good breakout year.
No, very much so, right?
But with Buffalo alone, they're kind of in the same situation of Montreal. But I see Buffalo taking a lot more steps towards the right position to be able to get out of a rebuild. But it's still going to take tons of time because the Jeff Skinner, that contract's looking worse and worse unless he picks it up this year again. And the addition of Owen Power and seeing what he could do this season as well is a great upgrade for Buffalo. And Dahlin and Power just in their prime sounds scary enough. And their goaltending is obviously lacking a little bit because you still have Craig Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson and Comrie. Anderson had a decent season, and he did play well in front of the fans. And that's why he gets his job back.
Exactly.
And it's nice, but you can tell this team just knows that it's not going to be in that bunch for playoffs contention. But you know what? Like I said, I'm just glad that Sabres fans can be happy about something. They deserve it. They really do.
Yeah, especially when you don't have the locker room cancer and Jack Eichel anymore, and you got some picks and prospects out of it. So I'll give you a lot of credit for that. You guys are looking on the ups for a rebuild, but you're kind of in a Montreal situation. Bottom of the barrel in a very, very tough division. Very tough.
Very tough.
Very tough division all around. And T-Dog, I'll jump to number 6 if you're all good with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what? There's 2 teams that kind of fit back and forth with number 6 and number 5, in my opinion. And I'm going to put the Detroit Red Wings at number 6.
Okay.
And my reasoning for this is you know what? Steve Yzerman is really fixing this team really quickly. You even saw it this offseason. He had a bunch of additions to add to this team, but they're kind of like Ottawa in a sense of you added all these players and you need kind of the chemistry to build it this year. Why are you looking at me like that?
They still have $8 million in cap space, bro.
What?
Oh,
Holy moly!
They could do something.
Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna keep going at this. So basically with Detroit here, Steve Yzerman is making a great idea for what this team is, because you look at what he did in Tampa and it's absolute nuts. We start with Maurice Sider. He won the Calder. Young, great defenseman, has potential to look like a Cale Makar in a sense, and that's great for your defense. You already look at the forwards. You have Dylan Larkin that's still their franchise center in a sense. He's starting to age, but he's still at the age where I think he's just entering his prime now. And then you also have Lucas Raymond, young, talented left wingers that showed some potential last season. Could also break out a bit more this year. And you add Andrew Kopp from the offseason, sure. A few core pieces to add for depth. And this team obviously looks way better this year than they did before. But again, looking at just the division they're in, they're going to sit in the 6th seed. And that kind of sucks to see, because you're seeing, but as a Detroit fan, you're really starting to see the improvements of what Steve Yzerman is doing for your team. And you got to just be happy about that in general, because your team is growing and taking the right steps. T-Dog?
Yep.
Who's number 6?
I pretty much agree with pretty much everything that you said there. And yeah, my number 6 is the Red Wings.
All right.
So this team, including another team that we'll talk about later, that easily had, I think, one of the best off seasons in the league. Like, let's see here, right? And I mean, let's just start with the forward group. But I mean, I still love Larkin. Larkin to me at a $6.1 million cap hit right now till next year is a steal. I mean,
that's a good
contract.
I think
he will stay. I don't see why he wouldn't. But you have Larkin. That addition with Kopp is so nice too. But then of course too, Perron decided to come there as well.
Oh, Dave
right.
Perron,
so a little bit of there's that veteran presence as well. But he can still put the puck in the net at 34, which is awesome. I think St. Louis is gonna kind of hurt to like lose him a little bit. I really do. But still, I love Tyler Bertuzzi. He plays with a lot of heart. And he gets the points too, man. It's crazy. Like I really think Bertuzzi's an underrated player. Jakob Vrana as well. Pius Suter, man. Also, just a good depth piece right there. I really do like that. Oscar Sundqvist. Adam Murray has some good potential too. Kubley's not bad for your bottom fourth there. Philip Sedana, of course. If I don't know what'll happen, but if he can also break out Sedana, then you got another goal scorer. And if Sedana ever gets to what he was supposed to be potentially, then there's your 30 goal scorer. Right? That's a lot of ass, but it's possible. But then, Lucas Raymond as well, of course, who's going to be an absolute stud come in the next few years. And you have grit and a young guy in Giovanni Smith. So, that's very much an Yzerman team.
Yeah.
It feels very Yzerman.
Oh, they also have Ville Husso in net.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Mark Rasmussen. But let's look at the defense too. Okay, so, still young and a little bit of holes and gaps in my opinion, because I feel like your highest paid defenseman in Ben Sherratt at 4.75 per is not the greatest, but I think Sherratt works with what they have. I love Philip Roenick. I really do. I think he will. The older he gets, the better he will. And I think he's worth that $4.4 million for the next 2 years. And of course, like we said, Moritz Seider, who was going to win the Norris come 2 years. I'll give it 2 years.
I'll give it 2 years. Yeah.
Right. Just once after, let McCarr win a few more, and then let Hemman win one more, and then then it's Seider's time. Jordan Rosser is on this team. Goodness, Oli Mata.
Yep.
So there's a lot of promise there, but it still feels like there's a few holes to be filled, but I think that can happen through time. But I do like the goalie tandem too, that 1A, 1B situation, Alex Nedeljkovic and Ville Husso, because a lot during that season for St. Louis, back to St. Louis again, is that I think Husso played better than Binnington. And ultimately, if Husso didn't play that well at the end, especially in the playoffs, but if Husso can kind of bring that back, then your 1A, 1B situation is scary crazy, because the Nedeljkovic also has possibility of being, because he could become consistent. It's very possible. So
it is
I like this, but I really think that the Yzer plan this offseason was phenomenal, and easily up there is one of the best. Top 3 for sure. There's promise, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, there's tons of promise with these 3 teams we just mentioned of growing in the right ways. That's where I'm kind of taking this. And another team that is in my 5th spot for this is another team that took a lot of big steps this offseason, probably had the best offseason of the whole offseason, and it's the Ottawa Senators. And, okay, I've thought about this for the last little bit, and it was either Ottawa or Boston, because you looked at both teams, and Ottawa had such a good offseason. You add the additions of Alex DeBrincat, and then you also bring Claude Giroux in, and you bring in a lot of veteran forward depth for your offense, which was already stacked with such young talent there already. And overall, just it looks like such a complete different team, because I believe,
oh my goodness,
like Talbot, like they have Cam Talbot in net, and if he shows flashes of what he did with the Wild, it's instantly possibly a contending team, but that it's just really hard to put them up higher because of just how stacked the division is, and you look at the rest and it's like.
So here's why I put Ottawa at the same spot. Same reasons except this. Talbot's injured. I can't remember how long the injury's for, but I don't think you can honestly play with Anton Forsberg playing 30 games.
That's
30 games.
That's
I think it's a big problem. This team could really make a run for its money. If you're a Sens fan, how can you not be excited? Like, I feel us Sens fans and us Flames fans are very similar, where our off seasons were just shocking. Different reasons why they were shocking.
Yes,
but you can't help but be so hyped like that. Like, both fan bases must just be so pumped for opening night.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm so pumped for opening night. Longest time most have been this hyped in a long time. Different reasons.
Probably since last year, just for a different reason.
That's true, right? But, I mean, let's look, right? Right? Brady Tkachuk at the helm there as your captain. Josh Norris gets better through age. You got Claude Giroux, still can score. Veteran presence. Leadership. Amazing. Great beard, by the way, for him as well.
Oh, I love
Alex
the beard.
DeBrincat. What a steal, bro. What a steal! Drake Batherson, right? So much. Even Matthew Joseph got his promise coming from Tampa Bay. These young guys. But these young guys promise that if everything works out, then Ottawa was a different story, right? Shabbat, right?
Thomas Chabot.
Great for that. Nikita Zaitsev. Okay, so the defense might be not as strong, per se. Of course, it's the forward group, but still there. I think, Hamonic, and then Artem Zub, Nicole and Jake Sanderson, Eric Brandstrom. You can play around a little bit with that. So it's not terrible.
They're not as strong as you would think, but it's still it's still a solid defense core.
You gotta be excited. Like, I feel that forward group, like, they could possibly, if things all work out, like, you could have just a lot of scoring, a lot of 6-5 games.
You really could.
Right? It's very possible.
It's looking scary for. You're looking in the right light, Ottawa Senators sense. 100%. But the reason why I had them at 5 was because it's your first season with all these changes to your lineups and everything. So it's going to take some time for everyone to create that chemistry. And if we look at my number 4 choice, this team has been basically bonded of chemistry for a couple of years now. It's the Boston Bruins. You looked at their first three-headed demon in the first line. Patrice Bergeron, you got freaking Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak, the three-headed demon of Boston. And this team has just been a contender for years and years because of what this team can do. And that's why I have them at number 4 over Ottawa, just based on experience, chemistry. Like Ottawa, I'm really excited for what you guys could do. There's a lot of people probably saying that Ottawa has a better chance of making playoffs than Boston. But I'm going with my gut here and still saying Boston has a better chance. Yeah. Because if you look at their defense, they still have Lomholm. They still have Charlie McAvoy. Their goaltending tandem is a A-B situation still, and it's kind of still working for them really well since Rass left. But this team, I believe, still on paper and overall is still better and could make a way better chance of making contending and going deep in playoffs.
This team, the Bruins, definitely have to make it work this year, though. And that's really why I think they'll fight as much as it's how difficult it will be for them this season. I'll put them at 4 as well.
Oh, okay.
But they really got to fight because let's count how many UFAs. This is including Pastrnak. So David Pastrnak, Nick Foligno, Pavel Zacha, Craig Smith, Bergeron, Thomas Nosek, Chris Wagner, Trent Frederick, David Krejci, so that's 9. Connor Clifton's 10, and 11 is Jeremy Swayman. Swayman's still getting paid $95. That's a steal. You're going to have to make this work. Marchand, if I'm correct, is still injured for a few more weeks. So if you're without him, that
you know what I just kind
of sting for a bit, but I think you got to make it work. I mean, because you don't want to lose Pastrnak. Like, you're going to have to make some moves. So this team is probably going to look different no matter what happens come next year. But yeah, like you said, team is still pretty similar. I think they can still kind of take that momentum and push it forward. But it's going to be hard for them, especially in a division that already has absolutely phenomenal superstar elite teams and teams that are creeping up on them too.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I still think they're going to be at 4 there. Or pretty interesting, I should say, to see how Boston fares this season, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun. And you know what I just kind of thought of when you were talking? You know that Will Smith meme when it's like the whole room's empty and he's just by himself? I could think of Brad Marchand like that in the Bruins locker room if this doesn't work out next season. I'll put this up right now and just it made me giggle.
Goodness, everyone. Number 3. Florida Panthers.
All right.
I'm guessing we got the same. But
yeah.
The Panthers. You got a bit of a change.
You do.
Tkachuk and Huberdeau are different players, but their talent level is, I would say, equal.
I would say pretty equal, but I would say
I think it matters.
Huberdeau still has a bit more than him. I think it's just age.
Yeah, we're so biased.
Yeah.
But
Jonathan Hockey, man.
I really think a lot of it may actually depend if Tkachuk can work with a line of Sasha Barkov. I do like their forward group still. I do think that losing Huberdeau is a bigger loss as well. But you know what I think even bigger loss is Mackenzie Weegar. Because let's look at your defense right now.
Aaron
Ekblad. Phenomenal. Worth every penny.
You lose a huge piece in Weegar that was a defense partner with Aaron Ekblad, but still solid defense core. Like
I disagree on saying solid. I think it's good, but it could be better. Well, I think it was better with Weegar is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, it was 100% better with Weegar. We got a steal out of that trade, man. I don't think a lot of people realize we stole that trade.
One thing I'm absolutely ticked about is that they got to pick up Rudolph Balcers, who I thought played really well with San Jose, and this is a team, San Jose, who's in the rebuild phase. So that's kind of nice that they get some depth there on the bottom 6. But let's look. I think you put. Oh, maybe it's Reinhardt who was on the. He played center too. I can't remember, but I think if you have all these players playing well, Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhardt, Bennett, right? Like if Bennett
Sam Bennett goes off,
scoring a little bit too. There. You know, there's Verhaeghe. Oh, I should even mention goalies: Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight. If the pattern is correct, Bobrovsky's having a terrible season because it's good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Good season last year. Let's hopefully he breaks that this year.
You know what though?
But
if he does have that bad season, Spencer Knight will have a breakout season.
Yeah, kind of. And you know what? I get why he got paid the $4.5 million. It's just because Bobrovsky playing so much that I feel like Spencer Knight hadn't played enough that us who don't watch this team religiously can be like, oh yeah, for sure, money. But yeah, Spencer Knight 100% is their goalie of the future, and I guess that future is almost now.
Almost.
Very close. But that's true, right? Bobrovsky does not have a good season. Knight can be right there.
100%.
So there's a lot of possibility, a lot of promise still. Gonna be a little different. I am intrigued to see what a team like this, Huberdolis,
Huberdolis,
a Hooby-Dooby-Dooby-less, and a Uyghurless team, our Florida team will be. So intriguing, but probably about the same, I think.
Actually, they were first in this division last season.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's very true.
They were first, so it's a little bit of a drop.
Can Tkachuk, I think he will, but I think that's the biggest question. Can Tkachuk fit on that top line with Barkov?
Oh, probably. He was able to put up 100 points with Elias Lindholm and Gaudreau at the helm. I wouldn't see any difference with Barkov, that is a top 5 center in the league, and then it's just such a stacked team still, even if you take Huberdeau and switch him out with Tkachuk, because obviously their playing styles are quite different from each other, but still, both 100-point players. They saw the upside of what Tkachuk was. That's why they kind of overhauled to pay for so much for him. And to be honest, he could take such a big change playing with Barkov, but I think it is just adjusting to those differences of play with Barkov that Tkachuk will have to get used to.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were saying before, the loss of Uyghur for Florida was probably one of their biggest losses, because Aaron Ekblad doesn't obviously have his second big defenseman to play with anymore. And you could be right about Bobrovsky here, that he does have a slump season. He really could. And then you see the rise of Spencer Knight for Florida. So honestly, I see why we put him at third. I will agree on that. And I think we'll jump over to number 1.
Okay.
And I think number 1 is going to be a very pissed off team from last season. And no, it's not the Leafs. It's Tampa. And I believe this because what Colorado did to Tampa is probably awoken a beast that's really mad right now. Because, these guys are still contenders. They never went away. They made cap space and got rid of McDonough, who sent him to Nashville. But, dude, Vasilevsky, best goaltender in the world. Victor Hedman, probably second best defenseman in the world. Kucherov, probably one of the best wingers. And just overall, this team is still crazy good. And I don't think a lot of people are realizing that they're still in the race of winning a cup again.
Oh,
and this is a huge redemption year for them. And that's why I see them coming out big and pissed off and taking redemption on this league and coming first in the division. Nothing against the Leafs. I think the Leafs have made tons of changes this offseason, especially getting exited out in the first round again to Tampa. But you're just in a tough division. Oh, well. And you could possibly see it again if something doesn't change with them. But you got your goal to... I don't know about your goal thing. You know what? I'll let you go before I talk about Toronto. I want to hear your number 1.
My number 1 is Toronto.
Yeah, you and I switched. Okay, I want to hear what you think about Toronto.
So, something tells me, I'm going to be wrong, but something tells me that the Matt Murray acquisition is going to work. I don't know why.
You think he switches? You think he finally gets
feel
flips
Matt
a gear?
Murray will just have some sort of redemption arc. I think it is very possible that he can, and I think a team like this, it's possible. Now, I think that Toronto, especially at the fact that Keefe and Dubas could be on their jobs to be on the line this season.
Oh, 100%. If they don't make it past the first
there's
round.
Even more drive and desire to be the top or be better this season than they were last year. Matthews is going to score 55. I think
probably
he
get 60
no,
again.
No, screw that. He's gonna probably score 65.
He probably.
All right, and I'm not one to like absolutely like just bandwagon Matthews or whatever, but
No,
the dude's so good. He's probably gonna get like it's another 60 goal season, maybe a bit less, but he's gonna get that 50, 60 goal range. Maybe some people say 70. I don't know, but that's gonna help a lot. There is promise there still, right? I think how they played this season was good, and they almost beat Tampa. Let's not forget that. They almost beat Tampa.
They almost did.
So it's very possible. You lose Jack Campbell, but I think Murray can really pick up that slack. But of course, you have Samsonov as well as your backup. So at worst comes to worst, 1A, 1B.
Dude, Kyle Dubas' job is on the line.
This has to be the last because how many more years of Matthews?
2. They only have 2 years. And I'm
You
just saying now.
You have to do so. Like it seriously, we say this every year, but you literally you have to do something now. There is no.
Your job is on the line more than Brad Treliving was in the offseason. Like, this is a do-or-die season for you because, who knows, Austin Matthews, Leafs fans don't truly want to hear this, but Austin Matthews might leave to go play in Arizona in his...
Not Arizona.
Okay, that was a bit too much. But there is a good chance he could leave after the 2 years, man. We didn't think Kachuk or Gaudreau would leave us after our contracts were done. We thought we were signed because we got farther than a first round. But no, they're gone because they wanted to go play in the States. And there could potentially be the same reasoning for Austin Matthews to do the same thing. You don't want to think that, but if these first-round exits keep happening, he will move.
Well, and for me, too, I'm just done with the first-round exit jokes. They were hilarious at first. I kind of hate them now. It sounds weird, but it's just that...
They still make me laugh.
They do make me laugh.
It's so hard, man.
You know what it is? It's that it's like, I want a narrative to change. And as just a hockey fan, I want to see success for teams that are good. And I respect the Leafs because they're a good team.
And hey guys, that's the Atlantic Division. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like it, good for you. If you don't, suck it up, buttercup. And hey, if you guys did enjoy this episode, I would really appreciate if you guys did leave a like, a comment down what you guys would like to see next or what you think of this video. And please subscribe. We just got over 60 on YouTube. I much appreciate it. Keep up the support, boys. We love it. T-Dog, I'll also end it off with you.
Well, thank you guys very much for watching. The Western Conference is next, so we'll get those going. If you guys want to start the discussion early, by all means, who do you think is going to be top of the divisions there for Central and Pacific? Leave it down in the comments. And hey, we are so close to hockey season. So close. I can't wait. I bet you guys are excited too. But hey, a few more days, and then we get to blissfully watch some regular season hockey. So let's get on to this. All right. Have a good one, boys. Peace.
Peace.